you're ready to take the leap, you want to go buy a franchise, please work with a consultant, whether it's us or someone else, but please work with a consultant. They will help you through a process that you are not familiar with. And this process can be very long. There's going to be a lot of dips and valleys and peaks and all the things as you go through this, emotions and excitement and all of those things. And in order to make a huge decision like this, please work with somebody. Our process here at Go Big Franchise Consulting literally starts with a questionnaire and an assessment. We send you these two things and we get you to fill these out so that we can really begin to narrow down where do you fall on this scale and what is a good fit for you. I review those and we go through those and we dive in and we really build out the foundation for that. We're going to go over this on a phone call and we're going to or a Zoom call, and we're really going to dive into what type of industries excite you, what makes you get up, what makes you get going in the morning, and what are your goals for this brand? Is it to build an enterprise? Is it to build a family business? Is it to work in the business and get that entrepreneurial drive going? What is the goal of this business? After that, we'll jump in and I'll go to work for you. I'm going to go and do some digging and find brands that fit that questionnaire, that assessment, and that review that we did for you. Once we get done with that, and that may take a couple of calls because listen, I'm not perfect. And so I'm not going to necessarily nail it on the first go round, but I promise you, I'm pretty good at this. And so we'll probably find a couple of brands that excite you. And that's where you take these next couple of steps is you really get into the nitty gritty, and we're going to do an introduction. I will tell you, this is where it does get serious. It's not that it gets serious because you're making a commitment. It gets serious because this is your first impression. Franchising is a dance. It's a decision process. That brand has to decide that you want to be a part of, that they want you to be a part of their brand, and you're deciding, do I want to be a part of this brand? And so it is a give and take. And when I do those introductions for you, that's that first step. Was the questionnaire filled out completely? Was the assessment filled out completely? Was the information all there for you? Did you show up on time for your introduction? Did you not respond to their introduction email when they sent it to you? Those are all things that can throw up red flags for them that later can cause them to not approve you as an owner. And franchising, that is ultimately their decision. If you get to the point where you want to buy their franchise, they have a yes or no ability. And so the next step will be reviewing the franchise disclosure after you go through that brand introduction and you talk to that brand and find out a little bit more about them. Then you're going to get disclosed. Franchising is very regulated. And so they have to file a franchise disclosure document with the states and with the Federal Trade Commission. And this document is that they will ask for a signature to sign off on it. It's not agreeing to anything, but it is literally like a FedEx receipt that you got it. So it's time stamped because the Federal Trade Commission requires you hold this for 14 days prior to being able to proceed in the process of actually acquiring a franchise. Most brands will take you into the unit economics and they will begin to review the item 7 and the item 19 of that franchise disclosure document. The item 7 is a very important section because that's going to tell you how much money you're going to need to spend to open this bad boy. And so they actually will go through every line item with financial ranges of how much it's going to cost you to actually open this business. The item 19 is very important because we are not allowed to make earnings claims to you. And so if it's not listed in item 19, the franchisor nor myself is allowed to talk about that financial data. And so they will disclose financial data in this item 19 that we are allowed to discuss with you. And that is the only financial data for the unit economics that we're allowed to discuss with you. Once you get past that, it's awesome because they're still allowing you to move forward in the process, and you're still excited enough to continue moving forward in the process. So you're going to begin what's called validation. Validation is meeting with leadership in the organization. Validation is talking to owners of the business, the franchises as of right now. And you really want to be prepared for this. I advise people typically 3 to 5 owners is a good number to talk to. If you do your job right and your due diligence right through this process, 3 is probably plenty. But some people like to go a little bit above and beyond, go to 5, but really don't go much more than that. You're just going to muddy the waters and get more information than is absolutely necessary. That is where you can talk to people about some financial data because it's their business, so they can disclose things. We will meet before you begin validation to help you build a list of questions that you really are burning to get the answers to because you want to ask those owners. At the same time you're doing this, you're probably going to begin building out your territory with the franchise brand and seeing what really is your opportunity going to look like. If you make it through those steps and you really are still excited and the brand still feels like you're a good fit for ownership, then typically you're either going to go virtual or in person to a discovery day. Some people call it confirmation day, some people call it meet the team, where you actually will go up there. I call it the final walkthrough. You should be about 95% of the way to the point where you know this is the brand I want to buy. And you're just going up there to put faces to names and make sure that you see and touch it and actually feel that it's real, just to get that validation that you want. Next, you'll get a franchise agreement and you need to hold this bad boy for 7 days for review. And then you sign it, you put your investment in the business, and you're ready to rock and roll. The real work begins after this. You're now a business owner, and it's time to rock and roll and go after it. Whether you're an investor, whether you're an owner operator, or whether you're actually going to be somewhere in between as an executive model or something of that nature, you're still owning a business and it's still going to be work. And you're going to have a lot of steps that you need to take with that brand now that you've gotten this franchise agreement signed and the investment made.